There are quite a few metrics that we're tracking on the project. The prefabrication effort itself is intuitively exciting to people, but we want to make sure that we bring real numbers that get at the value we're getting out of this process. Value for us as designers and for the owner and for the builder. You can see just a quick listing of the things that we are tracking on the project: the accelerated start time, material cost savings, labor savings in terms of worker productivity, worker safety, construction waste reduction, and then build quality improvement. Since most of those won't be resolved until the project is completely finished, we've jumped ahead and tried to summarize some of the things that we're most excited about that we do know now. The first is just a significant productivity increase in terms of labor. So when we show this photograph to people, one of the comments we get a lot is, where are all the workers? So the warehouse is quite empty. And this was a peak hour when this was photographed. It's just that there were only 18 people doing all the work in the warehouse, which is a remarkably low number for the amount of work that was being finished. So 180 patient rooms and 210 MEP racks, all being completed by 18 workers, working across 5 spec sections. Then the next shot, you get something that speaks to productivity. The conventional job site, an installation quota of 200 feet of pipe per day. The guys in this shop installing 600 feet of pipe per day for a massive 300% productivity increase. And then also a slide that gets at labor savings. To go from a prevailing wage, which is tied to labor unions, for site labor at $50 an hour versus a prevailing wage for shop labor, which we can get when we're working in a prefabricated approach at $40 an hour. So that's a labor savings rate of 20%. So in those slides alone, just those 3 slides, we have significantly fewer people doing significantly more per day and costing us much less per hour. Those are 3 things that we're really excited about on this project, real value that the process brings to the owner and the builder. Then we can also get into some of the other issues that we mentioned earlier, like ergonomics and worker safety. The fact that typically so much of the work is done overhead on ladders or rolling work platforms. The guys are going up and down to get different tools, even going from floor to floor to get a tool that is in a box on a floor below. And the fact that these guys could do everything standing on one floor, that all their tools were much more accessible. And really proud of the fact the number of shop injuries on this project was 0. And then something that's also very important to us is the reduction of waste. The fact that metal studs, ductwork, conduit, and pipe were all ordered to length. And that in the end of the prefabrication process, we had still filled less than 1 dumpster. And then the fact that the prefabrication work was started and even finished before it could have begun on a conventional job site. So on the photo on the left, you see the way the job site looked when the prefabrication effort began. The tower was not even there yet. The podium wasn't even there yet, for that matter. So you can begin to build these things before the building is even ready to receive them. And in this case, we began to build them and even finish them before the tower itself was ready. And then we can begin to talk about a reduction in manpower. In blue, you get the estimated hours from the bid from the mechanical subcontractor, the guy who's basically doing all the sheet metal work, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning duct work. And in blue there you see the way they build the project in terms of manpower month by month. And then in red you see the actual expenditure of manpower, and which again is significantly lower than what was expected. The data here goes right to October 2009. What we'd like to do is just get a few more months of data now for November and December that confirm that in terms of real manpower, we've peaked and are on our way down. And then this last set of slides, it's just 3 more, but they get at a couple more efficiencies. What we can do when we're working with a really large CM like Skanska is try to find similar hospital projects, and we can do a one-to-one comparison then on things like manpower. So fortunately, Skanska has another hospital in the region that's of a similar size and at a similar phase in construction. And the square footage for that comparison hospital is shown in the graph there in blue. It's a little over 500,000 square feet. Then in red, you see the square footage for our tower, which is a little less than 500,000 square feet. That's as close as we could come as we looked across Skanska's regional projects. But it is same CM, same region, similar scope, and it's at approximately the same construction phase. So in the next graph, we show manpower. You would expect a similar relationship, but actually it's quite different. The Miami Valley manpower, which is shown in red, is significantly less than the control source that we're getting showing in blue. And Skanska is attributing the difference there to the prefabrication effort and the value that was brought from that. And then one last graph is injury incidents to date. Again, a big change between the two. 39 injury incidents in 2009 at the control project, and then only 6 at Miami Valley in Dayton. And that's across the whole project, including warehouse work for prefabrication and work on site.